All right, this is totally random. I get it, and you clicked on it, so you must be curious. There's always stuff in the garden that isn't necessarily like video or even podcast topic worthy, right? Making an entire video about some of these things would just be incredibly boring. So I'm gonna go around today and just do a couple of these things that are just too small to make a video about, but can make huge differences in your garden. They're just part of those daily tasks. This is a transparency that I want to have on my channel. I want you to see what we do. Here's the first one. We've got onions, but I don't need to make a whole video about trimming them. So we've got to trim these back, and it's a really simple process. We just go down the line and even them up. You see how they're all kind of janky and all over each other. This helps clean that up, and not only does it look better, but it tells the plant to focus on the root and allows more plants to come up and get the sun that they need. They're not blocking each other for sunlight and fighting. This is actually the first treatment I did because I was slow to start fertilizing them. So they're a little bit behind, but we still have like a month or so. I mean, that's really all we have to do. And if you really wanted to, I mean, especially when these get bigger, you could save all these and we put them on our potatoes and stuff like that. But for right now, look at that. Each one will get a little bit easier as the plants get bigger, but this is a really important task. Probably do this 3 more times. I'm gonna give it a dose of food. I gave it a light feeding and then it rained, so we'll feed it up and see what happens. But this is a really important task. And we were planting our onions here within about a month, maybe in a May. The second thing we're gonna do here is we're going to actually treat today. Did go in that last video, a couple videos ago, whatever, where I got the sprayer filled up and then it kind of died out on me and I had to replace it. So I did get a new one. I bought a smaller one. This one is a 1-gallon sprayer. I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought that I was gonna need a 2-gallon sprayer, but I really don't. Every time I fill it up, I just end up wasting. So I went back with a 1-gallon, and the goal with this is to keep it nice and healthy and put it away when we're done. We'll see how that works. So I'm going to treat all of my brassicas right now for the cabbage worm that has been peeking its head up here and there. So one thing I like to do is I like to leave water or containers out to collect water when it rains. That way I don't have to use my rain barrel. And this one has some perlite in it, so I need to kind of filter it out, which I'll just use my hands for. But this works really good. Just, you know, for stuff like this, when you don't need a whole lot. I'm probably gonna make, we'll see what we can get out of this. Probably around a 1/2 gallon. We'll see, but this is what we use for the cabbage worm. Yep, 1/2 gallon. So we use the Thuricide BT. It's totally organic. It affects the caterpillar when they eat, and then it makes them not want to eat anymore. I know I told you this in a previous video, but we are going to actually do the treatment, and I'll show you how I spray the plants. This is really important. There is a right and a wrong way to do it. So we want to make sure we do it the right way. So much better than last time. This is, got to get it up to pressure. All right, so first things first, you want to fine spray, just like that. And I'll just treat this row of Brussels sprouts so you can see, give our container a little shake, make sure everything's mixed up. And obviously you want to spray the tops. But then what we'll do is you get up underneath, flip your sprayer over and spray underneath and make sure you're getting the bottom of the leaves. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but the more you do, the better. And this is where our spacing will come in handy, because all of this right here is open space from us leaving that row out, which is exactly why we did that. And this is the only treatment that I do for the cabbage worm. I know I said it in the previous video, but it has to be said right now. if you're losing crops to pests and stuff like that, this is the way to do it. Give it a treatment, give it 3 treatments. Right away when you see it, then 10 days later do another treatment, even 7 days later, and then 7 days later do another treatment, and that just gets each generation out, and you should stay on top of it. I don't do scheduled treatments in my garden, meaning if I don't see damage, I don't treat. But this time of year and in the spring, as soon as I see the damage and it's start time to treat, I treat everything, because invariably it's just going to go from one to the other, and I don't want that. So we go ahead and we treat every single thing. Usually don't do this when I do videos. Usually I just record a video and get done with it. But when I'm trying this new thing, like all these little small tasks and stuff, it's just a new idea and I can't get it out of my head. And I showed this originally, but I'm gonna go ahead and install it today just because it makes sense to do it. It's upside down right now, but we've got this, Vigo sent us this retractable hose to use. The problem is this rig is heavy. And so I put something in the ground, but then it fell over and it's just a nightmare. So we're gonna start over and try and get it in the ground and really anchor it in. I wanted something like this simply because, I mean, comment how much time you spend untangling hoses. When you got something like a simple task like watering a bed or something, and then you got to untangle a hose, it's annoying as hell. So they sent it to me and I'm not reviewing it, like doing a solid review on it, but over time I will talk about it more and more. I'm curious how it's gonna hold up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a post hole digger and I'm gonna dig a post hole right here, but I'm not using concrete to get it in the ground, because when I put this on there, it just fell right over. That thing is heavy. So what I'm going to use, and this stuff is great, I'm using this post anchor. It's like instant, no water needed. It's super light. The boy had to move 4 beehives yesterday, and I tweaked my back just a little bit. And it's like one of those things where you're like, okay, I'm on the fence of where it's gonna heal in a day or two, or I can mess it up and it's gonna be a couple weeks. So I didn't want to get a big bag of concrete. I did pay a little bit more. It's about double the price of a 50-pound bag of concrete, but I don't need that much, right? So it just made sense to go use that. It's nice and simple and easy, and then you're done. If you don't have post hole diggers, you might want to get some. These are so useful. It makes short order or something like this. So good for self-defense. I saw a horror movie one time where they used a post hole digger to kill somebody. Very highly inaccurate in how that situation would go down, but even still, you could use it for that. Since I'm not putting up a fence or anything, I don't need to go crazy deep. I just need to brace this. I mean, this pole right here, the problem with it is really that this metal was bending from it. So this is a piece of wood that's on to a cheap T-post. Those cheap thin T-posts, they suck for stuff like that. Spoiler alert, for the next spring, I will be using them in my garden for trellises and stuff like that, because they're a lot easier to move around. But if you're expecting to put a lot of weight on them, don't use them. So let's get this stuff open and see what it does. All right, this stuff is crazy. Watch. Hopefully I did it right. Just bust the seal, and like it doesn't even look like it fills up that much, but like it's pretty intense. Watch how much this stuff fills up, and it's only filled up. It's probably got 8 inches of space down here. And we'll just let it go. I don't have a level. This is homestead garden eyeballing business. We're just gonna wait it out and let it go. But usually when I do this, I've done this before, and what ends up happening almost every time is this foam will expand and come out of the hole, and it looks like a little mushroom. I didn't realize I was supposed to trim it off. So I left it in. I have one in my front yard that I did, and I left it in there, and it's pretty bad. I'll take you up there and show you, and it looks like a mushroom. So I went ahead and I painted it red like a mushroom, but I could go back and cut it, but it's been there for so long I don't really want to now. There it goes. starts rising pretty quick. So much easier than using concrete. I hate mixing concrete. It gets my wheelbarrow nasty and all that stuff. There's probably a better way to do it, but look at it go. Oh my gosh. Is it gonna overflow? Yes, it is. That should not go anywhere now. That stuff is expanding like crazy. I wish they sold it in smaller batches, because in all reality, that's what we're using. Is most people are using it for smaller. You couldn't afford to do a whole fence with this stuff. It's like 16 bucks for it, but again, it just kind of worked out. My back's not in a lot of, precarious positions or anything like that. And sometimes you just got to pay to make things a little bit easier. All right, pre-drilled 10mm socket. These bolts I think are stainless steel, which is good because they won't rust or anything. And it's a little cattywampus, but I think it'll do. So let's see if our foam, which is hard now, it's been like 10 minutes, is all ready to go. All right, if you got kids in the room, I'm just gonna forewarn you that if this doesn't work, something's gonna fly out of my mouth. But let's hope that it does. Now this is a 100-foot hose, so it is plenty long. Look at that. Looks like it's gonna hold. I'll take it. So we gotta use our hose. So I stretched it out and we're gonna go plant in the greenhouse now. Truth be told, we're a little bit late and I don't have any seedlings ready, but I kind of want to see this year. I'm on the fence about if I should let my greenhouse just kind of rest for a year and redo the soil or what. So I want to go ahead and put some seeds in direct sow. It's the middle of October, it's cooling off finally, and it's really a good time because the greenhouse is not getting excessively hot. So this won't be a producer early, but it's gonna start filling in right when we start planting out. We should be starting to harvest. Last night it was supposed to be 50 degrees and it got down to 40. And you can always tell if you look up in the sky, and I mean, you can see behind me, it's just pure blue. It's gonna be a lot colder than they say it is, and sure enough it was. So it's just a good reminder that now is really the time that the greenhouse can start to grow and really flourish and not struggle as much. So we want to go ahead and get these in the ground. And I think with the warmth of the fall during the day, I think it'll actually help speed up the germination process. And then we just have to go from there and make sure that we take care of it appropriately. So I'm going to retry this giant kohlrabi. The buckwheat just overtook it out there, the seed that fell from the cover crop. That was my own fault. I'm still learning how to manage that aspect of it, but this, we're going to try this, and then we're going to put we may put some beets in here, and then I've got some of this super red romaine left over from last year. These are the seeds that we sell in our seed shop. You can check the link, and it's available through the podcast, all that good stuff. If you want to support in any way, be appreciated. But either way, we're going to put just a row of these in. We're going to go ahead and give it a solid row and see how big these can get. I did have to rebury the line here. So the water line, it had gotten a little bit, they always work their way to the surface. So, and the good thing about these, if I put a seed right here, that is where an emitter, so that it will get good water. But we're also going to spend a couple days for the next week or so. We'll water in here every single day. I'll take the new hose, and I will spray the water in here and just let it grow, do its thing. You got to keep these seeds real moist, man. That's the key, especially if you're going in a greenhouse and it could be hot. You got to keep it moist. Super important. A load of pressure off my back having those seeds in the ground, I tell you. It snuck up on me, and the greenhouse is always tough because you never know what the temperature is going to be outside. And I've been looking out, and I mean, you can look. I use a number of weather resources, but I was looking at the AccuWeather for my area, and they were saying we're not supposed to get a frost until right around the 1st of December. That's almost a month. It's a little less than a month after you're supposed to get a first frost. So I'm not really holding my breath on that, because, you know, usually a forecast is only accurate like 5 days out. It's pretty accurate. And then 7, it's a little bit less, 10. So, you know, 30 days plus out is not very accurate. But what that tells me is there is a chance that it's going to be delayed, and there'll be I'm imagining there'll be a frost in between, but then it'll warm back up. And for the greenhouse, that's a perfect scenario. So that gives us an extra month or 2 of getting these seeds going. So I'm not overly concerned about it just yet, because we still got to start seeds in here at some point for the replant behind the potatoes. And then also we have to start our seeds for going out into the garden. So we'll be starting those in about a month. Crazy, isn't it? Maiden spray works good. Works real good, actually. There we go. That's a lot better to get something started. So I want to be very careful not to beat these seeds in the ground. They definitely need to get saturated. But then after that, we got to be very careful to not overly water them like hard. But like I said, every day we're going to come out here and get these seeds nice and moist and keep them that way. So that's all the little stuff. What kind of little stuff do you do in your garden that gets overlooked but's really important? And if you've made it this far, if you like to see this kind of stuff, let me know in the comments below, because I can keep doing these things. There's times in the year where there's so many of these little things to do. I could do videos all day long just going around just picking at stuff, doing it. So just let me know what you think, and we can do that in the future. It doesn't matter to me. But I tell you what, when you do all those little things, it is a weight off your shoulders, and it is time to grow.